drive home the point that this is no longer a joke. And for your information, because of what I did, we have managed to sort out the biggest cartel in Mumias.
Vitisho vinafanya kazi.
No, sio vitisho, ni kuambia tu watu ukweli. Kwamba mahali mambo imefika, hatuwezi kuendelea vile tunaendelea. Lazima tubadilishe mwenendo wetu. And I am telling you, let me repeat here, that for those people who are corrupt, please look for another country. Because it is not going to be business as usual. Even as we look places where we find, even as we do what we have to do to make sure that all Kenyans are we avoid pilferage, we avoid corruption. Even as we do that, for those of the incorrigible characters, the people who benefit from corruption, the people who try even to influence the criminal justice system, you know, the people who beneficiaries, like what I talked to you about. I mean, surely the people who are going to court to stop, you know, implementation of programs that are public, you know, these are, and you know very well, you can see their fingerprints, that these are beneficiaries of corruption. They are so daring with impunity that they want to manipulate the whole system.
But
it is the same thing.
Isn't that democracy, really, Mr. President?
Is it democracy to steal?
No, sorry.
Going to
I'm
court.
talking about the question of going to court, especially for the programs you're talking about.
No, I mean, I have no problem. I'm not complaining. I've said they've gone to court, but I'm going to call them out that I know you. I know the fellows who have gone to court. I know the fellows who are sponsoring this, because I know them. They will not hide, because I can see their fingerprints. Let me give you an example. I told the people of Kenya that we need to increase our savings as a percentage of our GDP, that we are doing very badly. Countries like China are at 55%. We are at 12%, right? How do we build our savings? You know, there are characters who went to court to say, let us continue paying 200 shillings, you know? And then Kenya is rated among the last countries on age-old poverty, you know, because if you save 200 shillings, Bwana Wafula, how much money, surely? We have so many people, and that is how we do not have a pool of resources in Kenya that we can use to drive our own development. That's why we go borrowing left, right, and center. So we went to court, right? They went to court. I mean, we passed the law 2014. They went to court. They stole the thing 9 years, imagine, taking us from one courtroom to another. Then I called them and I told them, look at me in the eye, my friends. You have to stop this shit. You have to stop, you have to stop this nonsense. Yeah, it cannot continue like this, right? And they realized that I was not joking, you know. So we agreed on an out-of-court settlement, because they knew very well that they were beneficiaries of this whole conundrum. What has happened? Just let me tell you. We have wasted 9 years. What has happened today is that we were collecting about 1.3 billion at NSSF. Today, we are collecting 6.5 billion every month at NSSF. We are going to double, Sam, we are going to double the amount of money in our savings in the next 4 years, just as I told the country. You know, that is transformative. But it has taken some, you know, tough engagement with corrupt people. Right. You know, telling them it cannot continue like this. And I know when I believe this is the right thing, I go out of my way. Because, you know, I have been elected by ordinary people. They cannot do what I can do. They have given me the opportunity to do it for them.
Right.
So that we can begin even, the moment we have savings, we can even begin to reduce interest rates, because we are talking about our own money. Right. We're not looking for money from other countries.
Mr. President.
This is how we're going to transform Kenya.
Mr. President, it's been 2 hours.
Ladies
my water is drained. Please sip yours. as we transition to the next conversation, which is on governance issues, and Grace is going to take us through that.
Right, Mr. President, and this is basically point blank. Are you concerned about the performance of some of the people working under you, in particular cabinet secretaries? We saw you say that some CSs and PSs are clueless about their dockets some time back this year. And there was this report released by TIFA just about 2 days ago, which placed some 5 CSs at the bottom. And unfortunately, these 5 are part or are at the heart of Kenya's economy. Energy CS was at the bottom. Gender CS, Treasury CS, Water CS, Land CS. Are you concerned about their performance, and what are you intending to do about it, Mr. President?
Number one, I don't believe in TIFA.
Why don't you?
Because TIFA is a fraud. TIFA and all these opinion poll people, they are paid.
By who?
Whoever pays them. Because
but you just said
they told us many stories. If it was TIFA, I would not be president. They said I would never win. They made all manner of allegations. So please, let's not talk about opinion polls. Let's not talk about TIFA. And I have no quarrel with them. Wanaweza kuendelea na kusema ile wanasema, which is okay. Let's go to the performance minus TIFA. Yeah.
But we can see the results. We can see the results because
okay.
I'm saying we can see the results. You have dismissed TIFA, but say energy, which is at the bottom. This is definitely here because of the frequent power outages that have been experienced in the country. So it has to be true.
It is not true. Let me tell you that, yes, we've had about 4 different blackouts. And there is a reason for it, and I want to tell the people of Kenya that, yes, there is a problem. The problem is not about generation, because we have enough power in the grid. The problem is about investment. We haven't invested in our transmission lines and distribution lines in the last 8 years. Why haven't we invested? We didn't have a plan, number one, a clear plan. And where we had a plan, many things went wrong. For example, the 3 or 4 lines that are giving us real trouble, are lines that have been in court for like 7 years. We had a Spanish engagement with another group called Africa 50 that would help us connect the power from Takwel, the power from Ethiopia, and the power from Uganda into the grid. But those were never implemented. When I came into office, the first thing I did was, for example, there were transformers at the port for 5 years, and it only required 500 million. I paid it one day. That is why today we have connected power to Ortum. We are connecting power to Kitale from Takwel. We have so much power in Takwel, we cannot deliver it because there is no transmission line. What have we done? To be fair to, and I am not defending Davis, I just don't want him to be crucified for a problem that comes from afar. So what have we done? We have finally negotiated. I went to Korea. I negotiated a facility of 9 billion shillings. We are going to do 200 kilometers of transmission line, the ones that are part of what is causing the problem. We have finalized the procurement. Those will be constructed. We've also decided that because we do not have sufficient resources, we are going to work with the private sector. So we have another 8 lines, a total of 607 kilometers of transmission line that we have concessioned to a private sector for them to build the lines. And because we already have the law on wheeling charge, they will construct the lines, we will pay them as they transport our power. So we have a plan. And number three, we want to invest about maybe $100 or $120 million to island the supply of power. so that we will create about 5 zones. We already have 4 in place in terms of design, so that if there is a problem with power in one corner, it doesn't shut out the whole country, so that we isolate different places. It was supposed to be a factor of investment. And why is this the case, Sam? Just to, what we have done in the last 10 years, we have increased the number of people we are supplying electricity to from 2.3 million households to 9.4 million households. There should have been a commensurate investment to make sure that the transmission lines are strong enough to deliver power. So that was the gap.
But Mr. President, the bigger question is about yourself. You spoke to the nation. I think you are swearing in, was it CSs or who are you swearing in? And you said that you have a challenge with some of your cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries. There's certain things they do not know. In fact, you know more than they do.
I say,
how much of that is still a problem?
How much, when I said that, I was telling my CSs that read. If you remember the context, I told them, look, read briefs, understand your subject, understand your ministry, be on top of it. Because the moment I know more than you do about your ministry, then there is a problem, right? That was the context on. And what we have done concurrently, is we've had retreats of a cabinet. Yeah. We had one in Laikipia. We had another one recently. We are having one in February, just to make sure that we hem in everybody so that we are all aligned in the same direction. I want to tell you that many ministers, many PSS are now on the rhythm. They now understand where we want to go. And going back to what my sister said.
Grace.
Grace. What Grace said. There is all that around, because the economy is difficult. So you will find people saying this must be the man who is causing problems. We have a problem with energy. Then it is easy to blame the minister. But let me say a broader thing, in this context, that to be able to move forward as a country, there are 3 important things that we must do. Number 1, we must control debt. Number 2, we must control expenditure. And number 3, we must find revenue. We must find revenue. Yes, I have gone out of my way, and I think we have a handle on debt. Mm-hmm. We're managing debt. Many Kenyans today are paying taxes. I am making sure that through digitization, we manage to collect as much as possible, and it is not lost. I know it is painful on some on Kenyans that they've had to pay more, but this is temporary, and this is work in progress. We are going to see how to improve that. The third most important thing, which is important to me, is how we control expenditure. Apart from cutting down on excesses, we also need to look at opportunities. Do you know that we have 287 agencies of government, parastatals and companies? 287. How much do I spend on these agencies every year? 250 billion. Yeah. If I could save 50, 60, 70 billion from these organizations, I would do a lot more, and I would not be pushing more people in the tax direction. And that is why we changed the law to facilitate privatization, to facilitate strategic investment, to facilitate merger of some companies, and to facilitate closure of some. Let me give you an example, because many people have been asking, so why does the government want to sell you know, this company and this company and this company and this company. You know, taxpayers' money is being used to support many of these companies. Let me give you an example. I know many people are very sentimental about KICC. We said we want to privatize KICC. Let me explain to the people of Kenya. KICC is an iconic building. It is the center of the city. All of us, including myself. When I came first to Nairobi, I came to that photograph place where we are holding KICC at the top. And that will continue. People will continue taking photographs at KICC. But that's not why KICC was not built. That was not why KICC was built. It was not built for photographs. It was built as a national asset. Let me tell the people of Kenya, KICC today is valued at 30 billion. Right? How much money do we get from KICC? Last year we got 29 million. The other year we got, I think, 40 million. How much? 40 million. What a waste, you know? Because it is being managed inefficiently. I had to put 1.8 billion shillings to make it usable for Africa Climate Summit. Just imagine. So what I'm saying is, instead of having KICC as an office block, you know, the whole of that KICC there has offices of this person and that person, they are paying nothing.
Right.
Yeah? Why don't we transform KICC for it to become the international conference center that it was built to be?
Right.
Right?
So when you...
Just wait, the international conference center. And you know how much money we should be making from KICC if it is worth 30 billion? Even nominally, we should be getting 3 billion shillings a year. How much are we getting? We are not getting 3 billion. We are getting 29 million.
But Mr. President...
This is an asset of Kenya.
Mr. President...
this is a property of the
that
people
question about
of Kenya.
privatization of KICC, for instance, of course, there's work that has to be done, public participation, people give their views, and
Correct.
eventually the decision is made. So is the intention to sell it all, or is it a portion of it?
The intention is to commercialize. The intention is to have a mechanism, a strategic investor, so that we need to make it a true conference facility. And if we make it a truly conference facility, it will give us more than 3 billion shillings a year. Today, we are getting 29 million. If you ask any ordinary Kenyan, would we rather continue getting 29 million? Would we do a strategic investment that would give us 3 or 4 or 5?
Kwa hivyo kumaanisha Mheshimiwa Rais, changamoto inayoikumba KICC imepita ufahamu wa kuweza kwa serikali kuweza kuihakikisha kwamba inapata kile inachofaa kupata mpaka mnakwenda katika mkondo wa kuiprivatize.
Good question, my dear sister. KICC was not built yesterday. It's been there all these years. It has not happened in all the governments that came before me, right? And this is why I am proposing what I am proposing, so that we have a different, exactly answering your question. Wale hawakufanya, mimi nataka kufanya. I want to change KICC so that it makes money. Give me a chance to change KICC so that it makes money. Let me conclude by saying, because our international conference center at KICC is not working, it has no capacity to host. If you go there, if I didn't invest 1.8 billion, nobody wants to have a meeting in KICC because it is dark, it has no facility, it has no water, it is no toilets, nothing. So, what has happened as a result of underperformance of KICC? Do you know that Intercont Hotel is closed?
Yeah.
Do you know that Hilton Hotel is closed? Do you know that Crown Plaza is closed? Do you know that all these other hotels are struggling? Because we have no international conference facility. Conference facilities are the ones that support our tourism sector, our convention sector, our hotel industry. We not only want to invest or get a strategic investor for KICC, I am also going to get a strategic investor for Bomas of Kenya. We need to build another conference facility in Kenya, in Bomas of Kenya, and we need to build maybe 2-3 hotels in Bomas of Kenya. It is what is going to change the fortunes of our country, especially the space around tourism.
Right.
So let me persuade the people of Kenya, right? KICC is not being sold to anybody. KICC is not being taken anywhere. KICC will remain there. Those who want to take photographs, you can continue taking photographs. But for heaven's sake, allow me to get a strategic investor, and I am not going to do it at night. In fact, many people have been saying maybe we change the law to make it easy for government property to be disposed. That's not true. The reason why the former law was changed is because since 2005, or is it 2009 when it was implemented, we have not privatized a single thing because it was convoluted and it never went anywhere. Let me give you,
Mr. President,
benefits. Allow me, because this is a very important thing to me.
Yes,
so this is so when we said we want to commercialize KICC, there are companies, Grace, there are companies like Postbank. Every morning when we open Postbank, we lose 3 million. In the last 5 years, we have lost 1 billion shillings every year. How much? 1 billion shillings every year. Because nobody wants to make a decision about Postbank. I want to make a decision about Postbank. I want to get the employees who are working in Postbank. I want to second them to other institutions. We close down Postbank. We stop losing 1 billion shillings. Every year, and we do something with the fund that is there instead of taking money from the fund and spending it. And we are just being not prudent at all. Let me give you another example. Because this is what I want to do. This is what we are talking about. When we talk about privatization, we are not talking about just sale. We are talking about 4 or 5 aspects. There are places that will be leased. There are others that you will get strategic investors. There are others that you will get that you will take to the stock exchange. Let me give you another example. Kenya Pipeline Company. Kenya Pipeline Company is a company that is worth 300 billion Kenya shillings. How much?
300 billion.
300 billion. How much money are the people of Kenya getting from Kenya Pipeline? I think it is only once or twice that we have gotten 1 billion a year. Otherwise, we get 200 million, we get 300 million. This company, Kenya Pipeline, should be giving the people of Kenya 30 billion shillings every year.
So is it mismanagement or?
No, it is just strategic thinking that is not there. And that is what I want to do. Okay. It is just strategic thinking.
What's
so
KCC?
I'll come back there. What we need to do is, there are people who still that mentality, mali ya serikali si mali ya mtu. No. Mali ya serikali is our collective property, and it has to be managed well. And I have a responsibility to the people of Kenya that it is managed well, and I intend to manage it well. What have I done? I have changed policy. I brought the policy, because it is in my manifesto. I brought policy to cabinet. We said we need to change what we call government-owned enterprise policy.